Now, there's nothing quite as exciting as driving into San Francisco on the Bay Bridge on a beautiful sunny day. San Francisco, the city by the bay, famous for its cable cars, its ball teams, its romance. But we're here in search of something else the city is famous for, something that's closer to your stomach than to your heart.
Anything else?
Well, things were hopping down at the bakery at Fisherman's Wharf when we arrived. But I understand it's always busy here. Because you see, this is one of the places tourists and locals alike come to get their precious sourdough bread. Now, it's well documented that gold miners in these parts would bake up a batch of sourdough anytime they could, their gold panning tins doubling as bread pans. And then in 1849, Isidore Bodine opened up the first sourdough French bakery in the city, offering fresh sourdough bread to hungry San Franciscans. San Franciscans who quickly made this particular kind of bread part of life in their city. Over the years, many other brands of sourdough came along, but the demand just kept on growing. More and more people eating more and more sourdough bread. Today, it's reached the point that sourdough bread is part of the San Francisco mystique. It's everywhere. And San Franciscans now eat 3 times more sourdough bread than the national average. We're talking millions of loaves every week. What is this love affair with sourdough all about? Well, to find out, I did some hands-on research, including several days with the people at San Francisco French Bread Company, which owns several of the most famous brands in the city: Toscana, Parisian, Colombo, and Bodine. Now, I started off my adventure in the back of Bodine's Fisherman's Wharf Bakery, where they have a small area set aside to actually bake bread. It was there I got my introduction to sourdough from 2 of the owners.
Sourdough bread, generically, is a worldwide phenomenon. It takes many different shapes and forms, and you find it virtually in every corner of the earth. It's every place civilized man has been, they found some way to make bread, and some of those forms have been sour-based. What's unique about our product is that it is what we think of as a confluence of cultures. It's a culinary landmark. Isidore Boudin was a French baker. He knew how to make French bread. He came to California and didn't have all the baking ingredients and fineries that he used in France, but what he did find was something unique to California at the time, which was this particular crock of sourdough, this particular sourdough. And he took that as his leavening agent and formed it in the shape of a traditional French loaf of bread. That's what's unique. This is truly an indigenous San Francisco product.
Now, if I wanted to do a 60 minutes type expose on how you make San Francisco sourdough bread, would you tell me?
Not everything.
Not everything. No, I think not.
We learned well from our father.
Well, this was going to be more complicated than I'd planned. And to find out the real secret behind San Francisco sourdough bread, we next went over to the Bodine 10th Avenue Bakery in search of Sharon and Lou's dad, Steve Girardo, who owned Bodine for over 40 years and is now their master bread baker emeritus. He's there every morning in the bakery supervising things. Not only that, he's there at 4:30 a.m. every morning supervising things. It's still dark outside, but we were there, bleary-eyed and anxious to get the inside scoop. What is in here?
There's the mother dough.
The mother dough.
The one that starts, if you want to call it a starter, but that's the mother.
Now, is that part of the secret of the success of your bread?
Yes. Oh.
Uh-huh. Now, it just looks like
Piece of dough.
a piece of dough.
That's it. But it's still got, this is still dough from 1849. A piece of it, you know what I mean?
So tomorrow, if we looked at this, it would be all the way up?
Oh, tomorrow, or before that. But tomorrow is already made. They use it to make some bread.
I see. Okay, it's kind of confusing to somebody who doesn't.
That's what I said. That's why I say, I can show you how to do it today. I'll pull in, you says, let's go over again. Let's go over again.
Yeah, it's not as easy as it.
No, every trade has got its trick. And ours is very little, but it's got it.
Yeah, that's what I'm beginning to find out. Well, you can see Steve wasn't about to give away any trade secrets, but it does appear that this 150-year-old starter, or mother dough as they call it, is a big part of the success of the sourdough bread. And sure enough, I found out there's been extensive research done that proves this particular mother dough that makes San Francisco sourdough bread so tasty thrives only in San Francisco. Take it somewhere else and try to make bread with it, and it just doesn't work. Maybe it's the air, or the water, or even the fog. But no doubt about it, this dough thrives only in San Francisco. Now, Steve gave me the full $5 tour of the bakery, and as you can see, the place was full of atmosphere. A lot of old-timey looking equipment, and everything kind of hands-on. No computers here. Another thing I noticed was that the place had a nice feel to it, warm and personal. Everybody working together, just like a big family, literally. You've got a lot of family members here, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Why
as a
don't
matter
you
of fact-
introduce everybody? Because you've got the whole family here.
Sure, that's my other man right here, the main guy.
This
Al-
is your
uncle.
This is your
Alfonso.
uncle,
Alfonso.
and this is
This is Ernesto, my cousin.
your cousin,
Yeah. And this Alfonso Jr., my cousin. He's
your
his
other
son.
cousin,
Yes.
his son.
Yes. And,
And-
this Francisco, my cousin too.
So
And
we
we're
got
with-
the whole family here.
Yeah. I got my father too, but he's off today, and two other brothers they're off today too.
Your father, two brothers, your uncle, and
Cousin.
3 cousins.
Yes, and another cousin, but he's not here too.
Wait a minute, how long does this go on?
Well, as long as they let us.
Did you know that he's got his whole family here?
I better know.
Well, after meeting Fernando's family, it was time to leave the 10th Avenue Bakery and head back down to the Fisherman's Wharf Bakery, which was swarming with sourdough bread fanatics. Now, you're loaded down with sourdough bread here.
We just finished with this kind.
Oh, you've already had
We
some.
just killed it in the last 5 minutes. We
And what have
came-
you got here?
Another loaf.
Now, where are you going to take this? Where are you from?
Back to New Hampshire.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, why are you taking it all the way back to New Hampshire?
No, we probably won't. We'll probably eat it in the car in the next 5 minutes.
We're from Kissimmee, Florida.
Now, do you have sourdough bread like this in Florida?
No, we surely don't.
Wonder why.
I don't know. We have cornbread.
Cornbread. Now, here's a man over here chowing down on some sourdough bread. Have you ever had any of this before?
I never eat this type of bread.
Uh-huh.
I'm Italian. The first time I've been in San Francisco.
So this is
Yeah.
your first taste of San Francisco sourdough bread.
It's very good, very
Uh-huh.
good. It looks like Italian bread.
Oh,
Very,
really?
or French bread. It's very good.
Each day I eat at least one loaf for myself
What?
before I go home. And then the other one in a bus because my husband he get upset that I eat too much bread.
So you eat one here and one on the bus going home?
Myself each single day on my working day. And this is fact.
Now, the last stop on our sourdough bread tour is Tadish Grill, downtown on California Street. This place has been around as long as the bread has, since 1849. And in here, sourdough is king.
I love the taste, I love the texture of the bread, and the crust is crunchy.
The crust is crunchy.
Right.
So you like the crust
The
better than the
crust
inside.
And the inside. So I did the whole piece instead.
The crust is crispier and the inside is softer. And when you put butter on it, it's better than any place in the world.
Really?
London, Lisbon, name it. It is, really.
Turlock.
Turlock?
Modesto?
He's from Turlock.
That's right.
I'm a dunker, so you can rip it apart and dunk it in things, and it's great with everything. It's good with pasta, it's good with soup, it's good with beans, it's good with fish, it's good with everything.
I just eat the top of the bread. I like the top best. It's all good, but I like the top better than the rest.
This isn't even something people have to order. It's there.
Oh, it's put on the table before they sit down.
we do about 250 loads a day.
You're kidding.
Oh yes, and it's very popular.
Perhaps it's just the fact that this city has, the ambiance in this city is a little different than any other city. It's foggy. You're thinking of, when you think of San Francisco, you think of fog, you think of sourdough French bread, you think of cable cars. There's just a nice match.
It all works.
It's comfortable.
I wonder if Isidore Bodine had any idea back in 1849 just what he was starting. Now, I'm sure he was proud of his bread, but I think even he would be surprised at how far it's come. And even though no one, even the experts, really know for sure exactly why it's so tasty, everybody agrees that San Franciscans have a love affair with their sourdough bread that just keeps on growing. As we end the program, it's one of those beautiful days here in San Francisco. One of those picture-perfect, crystal-clear days where you can look out and see forever. And we really hate to leave. But to be completely honest with you, after doing all of this personal research on the sourdough bread story, I've gained at least 2 pounds, and I think it's time to go. As we go, as always, I'd like to thank everyone for their hospitality, and especially thank you for watching, and invite you to tune in again next time as we continue our search for California's gold.
California, here I come, right back where I started from.
Well, now it's time for a little truth in advertising. You might remember that at the beginning of this program, I mentioned we'd be visiting 3 different places in our state and taking a look at the things each one of them were famous for. Well, we made it to Watts for a look at their famous towers, and we made it to San Francisco for a taste of their famous sourdough bread. But by the time we had visited those 2 places, we'd filled up this program. What you're seeing now is the scenery on the way to our mysterious 3rd location, somewhere in Central California in the San Joaquin Valley. I can't tell you anymore because it'd give it away. But I guarantee you it was worth the drive, and it will be on a future program. To be honest with you, we're learning as we go along that sometimes our eyes are bigger than our stomachs, and that we need to pace ourselves just a little better. So let's just end this one as we listen to Babalade sing a little more of our theme song. See you next time.
Yeah, California, here I come, right back where I started from, where bowers of flowers bloom in the sun. Each morning at dawning, a little birdie sings and everything. A sun-kissed miss said, don't be late. And that is why I just can't wait. So open up your golden gates, California, here I come.
California's Gold is provided to the PBS network statewide through a grant from Wells Fargo Bank, coming through for Californians for over 135 years.
Tonight on KCET, nature joins a forensic scientist to reveal creatures in crime next. Then at 9 o'clock, there's still turmoil, though it looks like the choir may be saved in the concluding episode on Masterpiece Theater.